So I know this is kind of a different approach to the videos that I used to make. I was into gaming for a little bit. Now I'm not really into gaming anymore. So I figured I'd probably try something different. I've never really taken the time and effort to draw for real. So I've taken a couple of art classes, or I took an art class whenever I was in high school, and I really enjoyed it then. And unfortunately, I don't have any of the stuff that any of the art that I did while I was in high school. So I figured now is a chance to try to start a new journey, as I'm usually online a little bit too much. So I figured I'd try to get a better, like maybe a little bit more of a healthier habit. And I have, like I said, almost no artistic experience, so um, I wasn't quite sure where to start at with what to draw. So I think I'm gonna try to give fruit. I'm gonna try to draw fruit, because who doesn't like fruit? And every picture that I reference off of, I'm gonna put it up on the screen so that way you can kind of see it. But got a overhead camera. I thought that was pretty cool. I finally rigged that up. So I'm gonna try to draw a couple fruits today. I think I'm gonna try an orange, an apple, and maybe a banana, just because that seems cool. And hopefully you can see this pretty well. And also, by the way, if you have any tips or pointers, or if you just feel like clowning on my artwork, by all means, please do. I'm just learning. I don't really know anything about it. But I thought it would be cool that if I finally actually take this seriously, that I could kind of document it and see the progress that I make. I don't know if it would be worth it to rough sketch out some of this stuff. I don't know if that's what I'm doing right now, but I don't know anything about like shadows. So I'm gonna make an attempt at doing the shadows as well. But I'm kind of just trying to get rough shape down. I've always appreciated people that can kind of just pick it up too. Whenever I was in school, some of the students that were there with me were pretty good at just picking up the pencil or paintbrush and just kind of making it happen. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Since it's my first, I don't really have a reference of time. And who knows, maybe I'll end up drawing more fruit than just an orange, an apple, and a banana. I think I might not have the right pencil for shading. I'll find a new one. I think this pencil should work a little bit better for shading. From what I remember from art class, I think it's just you use the side of the pencil, like use the side of the lead of the graphite focus, and you just that shadow looks a little bit too dark for this orange that is in the reference picture, but I don't know how to draw three-dimensional either. To me, this orange looks kind of flat, and I think I think the shadows are what make it look more three-dimensional. That leaf looks terrible. I'm going to try to touch that up a little bit. And if this goes well too, I might try, that leaf looks too big. I might eventually try to work my way towards, if I get good enough at this, I think it would be cool to kind of work towards maybe like digital art as maybe like a little hobby. That leaf doesn't look anything like the one in the picture, but I'm going to try to get some of this texture down too for the orange itself. Man, that looks terrible. This looks oblong. It looks kind of crooked, like it's lopsided. I think it would be cool too to keep a portfolio of the art that I make in the future as well, and kind of be able to look back on it as well, like keep a physical portfolio of all the art that I do. I don't know if you can see that too well or not. Meh. It's a little bit flat on this side. I'm going to try to touch that up. Also, maybe in the future get a camera lens that's able to zoom too, because this is, I'm just kind of going at it from one angle at the moment, which is kind of tough. That looks a little bit more round, I guess. That, I think, looks a little bit more round. Not really. A little bit of shadow on this side. And two, at the end, I can take pictures of, I'm going to take pictures of each of my drawings in the end and compare them side by side with the reference pictures that I use, so it's a little bit closer up. But I do a little bit of shadow on the leaf too. Maybe, I think it would be cool also to get into color, like do like get colored pencils or something, kinda. Do a little bit more detail. This is kind of just a little boring. I'll do the shadow on the ground too. I feel like that may give it a little bit more three-dimensionalism, whatever. That's my rough orange. Kind of looks more like an apple, but yeah, close enough, I guess. That's a healthy looking picture of an apple. So I'm going to try to draw this one a little bit bigger too, so that way it comes up on the camera a little bit better. And hopefully hopefully you can be able to distinguish the difference between the apple and the orange. Kind of looks like the stem. Not quite. The stem looks a little bit fatter at the top. Start that to be where the leaf comes out. Oh, wait. The leaf blocks that part that I'm about to draw, so I'll just leave that go. I'll just kind of rough the shape in. That looks a little too fat. Or maybe my stem's not big enough. This does not look nearly as round as the apple in the picture. Oh, I hope my computer hasn't been making sound the whole time. Okay. Sorry if my computer's been whirring in the background. The fan's been running the whole time. Okay, I think I see where my problem is. I'm not starting off round enough at the top. So more round. It still doesn't quite look as round on that side. I think it's too sharp right there. Dogs are barking. That looks a little bit more round like the apple in the picture. Okay, so where I left off, so I just finished up the shape of the apple. To me that looks a little bit better than what it was before. It actually looks round like the apple in the picture. Except up here doesn't quite look like it does in the reference. A little more round, a little less pronounced. Connect it up here. Also would like to be able to trace better and get straighter lines, like something more like harder lines instead of being as soft. I think hopefully that just comes with practice, but don't know. That leaf looks terrible. Also looks bigger than in the reference, but let's use that. The leaf looks kind of jagged. I don't know if this is really going to make a difference, but kind of looks like the edge of the leaf has almost like a sawtooth look to it. Well, I kind of just drew my sawtooth design right over top of the little dip that's in the leaf. I do think it would be cool to eventually work my way to portraits. See, that doesn't quite look right, but I'm just going to stick with it. And then there's veins in the leaf as well. Looks like there's one that runs right up the center. Like I said, by all means feel free to dog on this because I know it probably looks terrible, but I am learning. Oh, yeah, like I was saying, I do think it would be cool to do portraits eventually, once I get good enough. Like, a couple of musicians that I really like that I think have taken cool pictures over the time, and I would want to kind of try to recreate some of those by drawing. So I guess this would be now the point where, well, I can't do color. This apple has pretty vibrant colors in it, so I guess I'll just try to recreate that by shading. I don't really know what exactly to do for the texture of this apple, but I'll just kind of see how it goes. That line looks a little too hard. Try to lighten it up with the eraser a little bit. And it looks like the darkness on this side actually meets the edge of the apple. Also in the future, I don't know if I'm going to do the face cam or not. Just see how well it works with the video. This may be too much. It might look too much like a shadow, but there's actually like a light. Looks like light shining off of the apple somewhere right in here. So I'll kinda try to keep that in there. So I think there's gonna be a storm outside too. Should be kinda nice. So I have an idea of something that may work for what I'm trying to do here. I don't know if this will work for sure or not, but it's something that I feel like I do remember from art class. I don't have the proper tool for this, so I'm just going to try to improvise a little bit. And hopefully this works until I can get the proper tools to do this. Make like a little blender almost, kind of blend the. So I guess what I could do, make it a little bit light as I can down here. I don't know. I'm probably not following any kind of like traditional method of doing this, but any tips and pointers would be greatly appreciated too. So it looks lighter down here than it does on the top of the apple. And the edges of this look kind of hard, like they don't blend as much. And it does look like there's a little bit of shadow down here as well, so I can actually make this a little bit darker. But the shadow, not shadow, but let's see if this will to kind of blend a little bit. Kind of. It's still on the camera. It's still showing up kind of like hard edges. So try blending it a little bit better. It's kind of picking up the grain of my table as well whenever I press on it. Not quite looking like an apple in my opinion, but it's worth a try, I guess. I mean, it kind of blended this down here a little bit. I'm gonna try to get some of the detail too of like the texture of the apple itself. And maybe that could be a comp. Oh, I know what I didn't do too. I didn't really get the color of the stem, which I'm just gonna do solid. There's no shadows that are reflecting off of this. Yeah, it kind of looks a little bit more like it. And the leaf I can do. Well, I guess that kind of defeats the purposes of me trying to do the veins then. I'll leave a little bit of a gap in between the veins and where I'm shading in so you can kind of see the veins, hopefully. It doesn't really look too realistic, but it's like slightly resembles the picture. Try to blend this a little bit more up top too. Maybe get some of this darker. I had to travel up here, make it not look as light. Yeah, I think that's kind of looks a little bit better. Also, it's getting kind of crooked. I can kind of. No, those lines are kind of hard. I kind of capture the curve of the apple, of the top by the stem. I think it's about as close to the result that I was hoping for to get. Although did kind of lose this. I was hoping to kind of keep that little reflective spot on the apple in the reference picture. That looks a little bit better, I think. Well, that's my finished apple. Now I'm going to try to do a banana. Alright, so I found a picture of a banana. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this one as big, but I don't know exactly what art style I'm trying to go for either. I think I'm going to try like something, oh, well, I guess it kind of looks like, I don't even know what to compare it to, but yeah, I'll just find out through exploring. Maybe I'll develop my own art style. I don't know. Kind of rough. This one doesn't look like there's going to be as many shadows since the banana's kind of like one consistent lighter color in the stock photo. So I'll just try to maybe a little bit easier. But sorry, I'm back. I think there's a storm that's about to happen here where I live, and it keeps blowing my screen door open, so it's making a bunch of noise. I don't think I'm really capturing the true shape of the stem on here, but this is as close as I'm going to be, at least for right now. Looks like down here I could do a little bit more work on this. But from the little bit of drawing that I have done in my life, I have always seemed to really enjoy it, no matter how it turns out. It's just fun. It's something different to do. This is how I can kind of work towards the actual shape of the banana. And it looks a little bit thinner on this side. That's not. I'll try to correct that. Still almost seems a little bit too thin down here, so I'm going to give that one more go. Maybe I'm already kind of making my lines a little too hard as well. Hope I'm not losing the curve of that banana. Up here could be a little bit more rounded. It's kind of as close as I'm gonna get, I think. Kind of a lighter spot here so I can kind of shade down here a little bit to simulate that green that's on there. A little darker up here. It is darker on this side, definitely, of the stem, that's for sure. A little like... I guess I will try to do this one is not turning out as well as I thought it would have, but oh well. I'll try to do the shadowing underneath of the banana where it's actually sitting as well. Make it look like it's sitting on a surface. There is, like, in the reference photo, like a line that's here, but it's a lighter line. And I don't know how to simulate that with the pencil. So I think I'm just going to try to, or, no, it seems like too much. Oh, no. No, okay, I think I have an idea of how I can do it. I can just lightly shade all of this in to give it somewhat of color. Lightly banana. I'll take my paper, blend it so it's like a light shade. Let's try to keep this darker spot here. So I'm probably out of the frame most of the time anyway with my head. And then maybe try bringing that lighter spot in with the eraser and kind of take away from what's there. It looks like that line on the banana goes up to about right here, so not perfect, but I think it looks a little bit closer to the picture than if I would have just tried to do it with this. Well, that's a pretty awful looking banana, but first time trying. A little bit of work here too. It looks thin on this side, I think. Maybe. Maybe that kind of looks a little bit better. I can't quite tell. Well, I think that's probably as close as I'm going to be able to get to the banana in the picture. And I think that's all that I'm going to do for today. I appreciate you, whoever watches this, and if you enjoyed, like and leave a comment if you feel like I appreciate any tips or pointers. If there's any of you out there that like art as well or do it as a hobby or even a job, I think that would be cool and I would like to hear about it. So thanks for watching. Bye.